several times in each chapter, we see how helpless Krishna is. We find weakness lording over strength exactly because it is weak. Srimad Bhagavad Gita is an epic struggle, and Krishna is the struggler. It all tugs at your heartstrings. It's actually a song, as much of melancholy as of wisdom. And that's the reason I love the Gita.
So the first question comes from Animesh from BHU. Sir, I have observed that I have been living my life to impress other people. From school days, we are taught to write in a certain way, speak in a certain way, and answer in a certain way to leave impression on the teachers, invigilators, etc. Probably these things are required in businesses and jobs as well. This thing has subconsciously impacted my mind so much that even in dreams I keep on trying to impress others. Sometimes it completely takes over my expressions, and then there is no true expression of myself. I notice that when I'm using social media, instead of expressing my opinions, I am putting more emphasis on things that can leave wow sparks on my followers' eyes. From parents, friends, to general members of the society, I think to all I speak words just to gain attention and admiration. This might be coming from an inner urge to be recognized and respected in eyes of everyone and make everyone around me happy. But I fail to see any value of such behavior. Please guide me how I can eradicate this urge of attention, admiration and impression and walk rightly. Thank you. Animesh, you want to impact the minds of others, right? That's what it means to impress others. To impress others is to leave some kind of an imprint on their mind, to impact them, influence them in some way. So, if you really are so concerned about impacting or influencing others, why not influence them in a way that would be really beneficial for them, rather than seek your own little self-interest? When you want to create an impression in the other's mind so that your own ego feels pampered and bloated, then it is a problem. Only then it is a problem. Unfortunately, 99% of all attention-seeking behavior is just for the gratification of one's ego. That's why it is a problem. Otherwise, if you look at the great people in so many fields of human life, you'll find that often they have either consciously or inadvertently created great impressions on others' minds. Sometimes their objective is just to be fully immersed in their own work, and this work that they are doing, when it comes to light publicly, is greatly admired and appreciated by the people at large. And sometimes it so happens that the work is of a nature that it requires an active attempt to mold the thoughts, opinions, beliefs of people. That is obviously a blessing to all concerned. Such people are remembered in history precisely because they impacted others in a very beneficial way. So now your question has taken a certain nuance. It is not as if impressing others per se is a problem. The question is, why exactly do you want to reach out to the minds of others? And here we are finding out two separate reasons that need to be seen very differently. The usual prevalent reason is, I impress you so that I feel good about myself. Why do I need to impress you? Because I'm not sure of my own self-worth. I'm not convinced about who I am. Since I'm not convinced of myself, therefore I require your ratification to feel a little more certain, a bit more secure. That's the usual reason why we are so attention hungry. Needless to say, this kind of attention seeking behavior is good neither for the one seeking attention nor for the one giving attention. So keep your little self aside and see how you can very positively, just to use the common word, impact the lives of others. Maybe you will begin with a desire to get value and appreciation from them. But if you are really doing something that is for others' benefits, then you will realize something quite extraordinary, which is that by the time you find that you are immersed in the act of helping others, the desire to gain appreciation from them in return would have either vanished or reduced greatly. Getting it? Such is the nature of selfless work. Even if it begins motivated by the desire to be respected and noted, yet in the very process of carrying out the act, you find that your mind has been gradually purified, and that now you do not feel a compelling urge to get appreciation in return. Some of the best known names in history to whom humanity remains perpetually grateful have been people who have impressed others. I understand, but that you would not want to call a Krishna or a Buddha an impression maker. But please do see that they surely occupy a very central and a very indelible place in the minds of billions. So if you indeed have to have a place in others' minds, why not have a place like that? Enter others' lives not as an exploiter, not with violence, not with the motive to extract something from them. Enter others' lives with a great assurance that there is nothing much that you want from them except their own welfare. That is a great way to relate with others. And you see, in every relationship, there is going to be mutual impression creation. It is not possible to relate to something or somebody and not have some change in your mind. Every relationship impacts you in a certain way. In other words, every relationship impresses you in a certain way. So, if impression making has to inevitably happen, why not make it happen in the most pious and auspicious way possible for yourself and for others? The fundamental thing to be remembered is there is nothing that others can give you by way of their admiration. Nothing. If you are an admiration seeker, you are already a bit inferior, incompetent, incomplete in your own eyes. In such a scenario, how far can others help you? So drop the hope that a person who is not all right in his own eyes can start feeling better just because he has tricked others into having a good or grand image of himself. Won't work. Far better it is to approach others with an inner assurance and completeness, not with the idea that the other will be able to provide something to you that will bring richness or self-respect to your life. If you do not have self-worth or self-respect or self-esteem, there is no way the other can give it to you by just admiring your manufactured attempts to get admired. The other may not know what he is admiring you for, but for sure you do know that what you are getting from him is just due to your well thought out and shrewdly crafted attempt at gaining his mind space and attention. You know where his response is coming from. You know his response has been extracted from him. So his response will not really be able to satisfy you. No point trying that method, right?